All right, guys. So day 26, we're coming into the home stretch here, and we only have a couple more days left. And this is the part where it might get real difficult. Not that it hasn't been difficult up to this point, but this might actually get really, really difficult because we got to go do stuff. And I'm not talking about like internal stuff, like stuff you're working on your own inside. I'm talking about doing stuff, like going out and spending energy and giving money and doing the hard things. So at the end of Radical, he talks about 5 things that we can do to really get radical, and he calls it the 1 year experiment. And I'm going to go over these 5 things over the next 5 days. And the first thing is praying for the entire world. And he calls it the 1 year radical experiment, and they pray for the world in those in that year. And so I'm not going to rehash what he says here because it's in the book, and we're reading the book, so we should all get that. But that's what we're going to focus on in day 26 here, and we're going to just remember to pray for the world. And so to do that, why don't you go take a look at the end of Radical and see how he suggests to pray for the world, because there's a specific way that he talks about doing it. So that's where we're going to start and leave off today. So go pray for the world. There's a lot of work to do, and it's something that we get so caught up in ourselves, in our own dramas, in our own lives, that we, especially here in the United States, that we do forget that there is a world out there that is just torn apart. Civil wars and dictators and just things that we don't even consider in our day to day. But we have brothers and sisters living in all of these different parts of the world, in these different parts of the world. And so we really need to do a better job of praying for them, and asking God how we can be his hands and feet, and how we can support these different brothers and sisters in churches around the world, so that we're not isolated, and so that we're not so self-centered on what we're doing and what our church is doing here. And so go ahead and read that at the end of Radical. I think it's in the last chapter, or second to last chapter, and just pray. Begin to commit to praying for the world over this next year, and begin to do that.